CRST takes Swift Transportation to court and wins. Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. I'm Mark, your mega carrier host. And today, let's talk about CRST taking Swift to court, of all things, and winning in federal court. So what did Swift do that was so bad? All right, what happened is Swift, according to them, let's get this right, was actively recruiting drivers. They were poaching drivers from CRST. They would get drivers and actively recruit them and hire them. And CRST is one of the companies in the industry that is known to very aggressively enforce its slavery contract. Well, can't say that right. Its employment contract with drivers. So be very careful. When you sign these contracts, okay, be very, very careful what you are getting into. Because in my opinion, this contract is very one-sided. You have to work for CRST for 10 months on this lawsuit, right? For this contract that they're talking about. They won't let you work anywhere else. If you work somewhere, then how they found out, right, is your employment verification. Swift would send an employment verification over there and CRST would immediately send them a letter back saying, nope, we got to deal with them. We got a contract here. They got to pay off the contract or come and finish working for us for the contract. The problem with this contract is this. You have to work there for 10 months, but they don't guarantee you any amount of money. It's so one-sided. Usually in a contract, both of you lose something and both of you get something. I will give up my time for you and you give me money. So you're giving something up, I'm giving something up here. CRST for 10 months is getting your services, but it's not guaranteeing you any amount of money. So theoretically, say you're making $500 a month. It doesn't matter. This contract is 10 months of driving for them, no matter how much you make. So you could be stuck there. And what they were saying is that Swift knew that this was happening and continued to do it. Those people, they just continued to get their drivers. And CRST is saying, we gave drivers all this excellent training, all this, many of you wrote about it, how great it is, and now you're taking all of our drivers and that's not going to happen anymore. Well, because of the contract, the court agreed. Swift has to pay $3 million for interfering with the contracts, $5 million in punitive damages, and $7.5 million for unjust enrichment. And I found this story by having it sent to me, I should say, by an astute viewer. So I really appreciate you sending me things in like this. I appreciate it. So the problem here, right, is when you sign this contract, you will have a real problem. There's tons and tons of people on the internet where as soon as they send the employment verification in, no matter where it is to, CRST immediately writes back to them and says, no way, we got to deal with them. And so a lot of companies just won't bother to hire you. Now, CRST can't make you get fired from somewhere. It doesn't work that way. You can go work wherever you want. It's just that if you do that, you've breached the contract. And so it's time for me. I'm not a lawyer, right? I'll go see a lawyer. So if you want good legal advice, all right? But if you breach the contract, you then have to pay. So you're going to pay one way or another. You're gonna pay. So be very careful when you sign something. Don't just sign it and they're like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. Worry about it. Because if it turns out that you get out there and don't like it or need to be off or whatever, you're not making the money you think you should make, regardless if it's good money or not, that you have a deal and you should honor that deal. Now, if you're making, some people write to me, you're making $300 a week, it's really tough to keep that deal. I get it. It's still a deal and they're going to enforce it, period. They are going to enforce that contract. They're making Swift pay. It's making it difficult for people to get jobs. This will quell the industry so that if you go out and get hired somewhere, other places are going to say, well, we don't want this kind of problem with them. So you're going to have a real problem. CRST is going to hold their people in there. So it's a contract. It was enforced by the court against Swift, and who's next on it? We don't know. CRST has other lawsuits against other companies that I found going on for the same type of thing. Be very careful on these contracts. All right, and congrats to the big money, CRST. Maybe you can give some of that to your underpaid drivers, maybe for a lot of the time that they sit around and don't get paid anything. Of course, that might be asking too much. Maybe only put TVs in the rooms. How about that? You could have TVs in the rooms and lights out could be an extra half hour and an extra piece of bread with your rations and training. There's some ideas. Those are free, CRST. You don't have to pay me anything for those ideas. No problem there, all right? Everybody else, thanks for watching, including CRST. I appreciate you watching this. We'll see you on the next one.